Girls and young women have unique needs that can't always be addressed in a co-ed church youth group. At Apostolic Church of God in Chicago, those needs are being met through Young Sisters for Christ. To learn more about the ministry and their upcoming Pamper Party, we welcome Alisa Neal, Assistant Director for Young Sisters. We also welcome Mckenzie Young, a 5th grader at Lennart Elementary School, and we welcome Stacey Young, Mckenzie's mother. Thank you all for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you for having us.
So let's talk about Young Sisters for Christ, Alisa. What is that, and how long has it been going forth?
Young Sisters for Christ is an all-girls ministry at our church. It services girls from ages 4 through actually 17. And we've been in existence for 35 years. So basically we are a ministry that services 2 functions. We have biblical teachings, and we also partner with the Girl Scouts of America.
Mckenzie, tell us about Young Sisters and why you enjoy Young Sisters for Christ.
So, we learn life lessons that we can hold on to for the rest of our lives through spiritual and with Girl Scouts. And each year we have different themes. Like this year we have Conquering the Spirit of Fear. Last year we had Got Fruit of the Spirit. And the year before that we had Princess in 3D. So this year we were learning how to let all of our fears go because at the beginning of the year we put our fears on index cards and we brought them up to the altar, and each time we meet we pray for all those fears, pray for everyone in the ministry.
Stacey, how important is it for you as a parent of a young person who is involved in Young Sisters for Christ to be involved in this ministry?
My husband and I give Mckenzie a foundation of being a young girl in today's society, but this ministry helps. We're working on the exterior, but this ministry helps on the interior. It helps her actually with the spiritual growth, things that my husband and I may not be equipped to do. So we absolutely love it. We also like the inclusiveness, because the ministry is in so many different avenues of her life. You have cliques, but this particular ministry, they do not, for whatever reason, they do not allow cliques, or cliques don't happen, which I love. They teach inclusiveness, so it has truly come twofold, because when they take Girl Scout field trips, without being told, the older girls automatically gravitate to chaperone the younger girls. So to me, that's a result of what they've been instilling in the young women, that we're all one and we're special. And I hear Mckenzie come home talk about all the things that she's learning, and when I drop her off, I'm okay. I don't worry about it, because I know while she's there for those 3 hours, she is going to get a good I know she's having a good time, but she's going to get a solid foundation in her spiritual growth. So when I pick her up, I hear about all the wonderful things that she's learned through Young Sisters.
That's fantastic. So Mckenzie, tell us, what's so exciting? Is there anything exciting that you've experienced at a Pamper Party, or is there a memory that you could share from Young Sisters for Christ?
Well, I have many memories from Young Sisters, but one memory I love about Young Sisters is that a couple weeks ago we took a field trip to a plastic factory where they make spoons, knives, and forks. And we got to learn about robots, see robots, and play with robots. I also got to play with slime. And it wasn't just for Young Sisters, it was also for young brothers. So we got to chat and hang out with other people.
That sounds fantastic. And as a leader, Lisa, can you tell us, how are you all teaching them to be young leaders as youth and young women in a society that is trying to silence them?
Well, that's an interesting question, because where we focus in on their leadership skills, that's where we couple in with the Girl Scouts of America. We teach them the spiritual foundations, and then we couple with the Girl Scouts of America, and we expose them to various STEM activities. We expose them even within our church to rise up and have a voice and speak to some serious issues that they have. We actually had 5 young girls, and I think it was in 2014, that it was 5 African American females that graduated, and they all achieved the highest award in Girl Scouts, which was the Gold Award. And the Gold Award is the highest award that you can achieve with Girl Scouts, and it's likened to creating a 501c3 organization where the girls had to actually take on some social ill or some social concern and speak to it. They were projects that they had were speaking to bullies and having arts in school and speaking to homelessness, and I think there was a project where we actually dealt with hunger. And so our girls are really cultivating their gifts, and they're cultivating and learning about what it is that they can do to make a difference. We are actually currently working on a little game that we used to teach our children, I Spy with My Little Eye. And so we teach that to them and say, what is it in your community that looks wrong? What is it in your community that needs a healing or something that can change? Then speak to it, pray about it. And we're doing it with 4-year-olds and all the way up to 17. So we try to orientate their everyday lives and know that they have the power on the inside as Christian women, and to deal with it from a Christian's perspective and know that heaven and Jesus and all of that backs you up. And so you expect for things to change. So that's pretty much how we kind of fuse the two. Between their spiritualness and their naturalness, is to bring them two together, give it voice, and we just let them speak to their own issues. And trust me, they identify them. They do.
Let's talk about the pamper party. How was the pamper party, and what exactly happens at these pamper parties?
So basically what happens is that we're split up into time groups. That's what it was last year. We got split up into time groups. And whatever your time group was, you did a certain thing at that time. So it depends if you had your mani-pedis first, you had the spiritual part first. So I had the spiritual part first. And what you do is you go into a room and you pray with your sisters, and you really get to connect with other people, because it's not just for young sisters, it's for everyone. You can invite your friends and your family, and you get to do spiritual activities. And then after that, you get your mani-pedis with your friends, and that's really fun.
Stacey, can you tell us, how does the things that Mckenzie learns through young sisters, do you see that at home? How does that practice happen when she's outside of the time that she spends with Young Sisters for Christ? Can you see a difference?
Absolutely. Mckenzie's a very emotional girl, and I know that they've been teaching self-control lately and how to control your feelings, and I've noticed over the course of the years she's doing very, very well with controlling her feelings. And so when I was asking her about it, she was saying that they talk about that a lot, how to control your emotion, and it's really been helping her in controlling when she gets sensitive and may want to cry. It helps her to stop and talk about, well, why am I there, and what can I do to move myself out of there? So I think that's truly a positive, because we've been struggling with trying to help her turn that around.
And may I ask this question, Mckenzie, how do you feel about your faith? Is what you're learning in Young Sisters for Christ making an impact on your relationship with Christ outside of the classroom?
Yeah, it's really connecting me with God more, because usually I pray like for my food, I pray when I go to sleep, but now I know to pray anywhere.
All right.
Outside that. So I can pray for my community, I can pray for my friends, anyone who has anything that they have problems with, so God can help them.
Thank you, Alisa, Mckenzie, and Stacey, for joining us today and sharing how Young Sisters for Christ is touching so many young ladies' lives. I'm LaSondra Stevens for Different Drummers and the Greater Chicago Broadcast Ministries. Keep the faith.